Alright, we're back. This is Malcolm Rose. Last time we cleared out Orc and the entire dungeon, and so we kind of have a choice. Do we want to go to Shoals, Spider Nest, Slime Pits? Technically we could go to Elf Vaults, or Elven Halls rather, or we could go into the depths. I put a little bit of thought into this. For this character, I actually think that Shoals is safest. Most of the particularly nasty things in there are really, they're like ranged attacks, javelins, that sort of thing. So we have demissile, pretty good chance that we can evade that stuff. Spider Nest is a bit of a problem because while we do have the option of casting a Zokube's armor, the problem with that is if we were to get caught by even like a couple redbacks with low AC, they really will just tear into us. Low AC is not fun in Spider Nest. Speaking of Azokubes, or Ozokubus, whatever, Oz armor, that's what I'm going to call it. Let's find out how much AC we get. Looks like only 13. So our spell power is not great, which really shouldn't surprise us. We have 0 ice magic, 6.5 charms, so doesn't really surprise me that my spell power is not great. On the other hand, technically we have 5 pips on account of our 30 intelligence, so let's just go into Shoals now. These sea snakes might be a bit obnoxious. They do poison pretty hard, and the fact is, I mean, we have resist poison, but what you really want against things that poison you with attacks is AC. See, if they don't actually manage to do any damage, they can't poison you, so that's nice. Also, these guys have pretty okay EV, so we probably don't want to spam Lightning Bolt on them. Instead, what we'll do is we'll just use Hydras. Hydras are totally fine in here. I mean, there's quite a lot of water in Shoals. And if you don't know, Hydras move very fast in water. So really, this is where the game, I mean, if you've got a character that's going pretty well, at this point, you really shouldn't be having too much of a problem, but maybe not. I mean, it's very possible to be at this point in the game and be having a really rough time, and those are some of the hardest characters in my opinion. You really know that you're in a tight spot if you're having trouble, especially if you're having a lot of trouble by the time the game kind of branches out like this. This is where I would say that most characters reach what you might call their stride. We're pretty much in it for this character. This character is totally fine. At this point, if we were to die in here, there's just not a lot of things that can kill you in here unless you make a mistake. Unless your character is, like I said, if your character's weak, you know, if you just haven't hit your stride yet, you know, if you're like a demigod, for example, you might be having, like, you might just not be developed enough yet. You know, you might have invested experience in the wrong things. Maybe you had the wrong idea about what you were going to get if you invested, and it's very easy to overtrain things. If I hadn't, if I hadn't trained summonings, and I was just focusing on air, I probably would have some problems in here. Because what if Lightning Bolt misses a few times? Just found ourselves a Scroll of Acquirement. Ooh, I did not acquire that. That was just on me. This -6 Ring of Protection, which we're of course gonna drop. Just looking at my items here, really we're good on spells. Sifmuna will provide more, and if I really badly need to cast a super high level spell, well, if you recall from last time, Dragon's Call is available to us. Firestorm is available to us if we wanted to go down that road. we're pretty much set as far as all the magic we're definitely going to need for the rest of the game. And if not, Sifmuna gives it to us. So we're going to acquire something, but it is not going to be a book. And I don't even really want to make a... I don't even really want to get a staff. I mean, conjuration is... What are we going to get that we want more than conjuration? Like air? Maybe, but not really. Conjuration's fine. So I think we're just going to go for jewelry. Maybe we'll get a good ring, maybe not. +4 evasion. I mean, I'll take it. Defense is not something I'm going to turn down. We still have this +3 ring of intelligence we might want, but I think we're just going to save our money. That's for sale for 219. We're doing okay, though. I don't think we really need it per se, but if I had to guess, I would say that technically it would be more optimal for me to wear that than this +4 ring of dexterity. On the other hand, it gives us 2 EV, so maybe not. Got a sack of spiders here. That and box of beasts, which I didn't just find, but sack of spiders and box of beasts are really great consumables. If you have some evocations training, they can, you know, act as summoning when you don't have any summoning spells. Sack of spiders is especially nice because it can act as a net. It can web stuff that's around you, in addition to creating a lot of bodies in the way of your enemies. These spiders have very long necks. They can they can reach. We ran out of mana pretty fast here. I am just going to wait a little bit, see what happens. This guy's making me nervous because, well, he can actually blow me off the stairs, so maybe we'll use... Yeah, we'll use our feel, just to get a little damage on him. Yeah, if he breathes on us, we could get blown off the stairs, and that might be a bad position. We should probably, just for safety's sake, I think we should go up. Yeah, we're going to try going up. Okay, that's okay. One of the hydras killed a turtle for us, so we'll just rest, and we'll go back down this other staircase. Really don't want to be in melee with this guy. Oh, we don't want to be in melee with him either. Whew. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, see, this can get nasty very quickly. Especially with the amount of AC we have. I think I'll go ahead and cast the armor spell. Oz armor. He can do quite a bit of damage, this Cyclops. Let me think on this. Let's see. Oh, whoops, forgot to turn my phone off. I'll just do that real fast. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, let's see. What do we want to do about this guy? We're gonna, yeah, we'll try to paralyze him. There we go. Now that he's paralyzed and can't throw rocks at us anymore, we'll use a Wand of Clouds. Ah, I misread where those, for some reason I thought it was going to hit the Cyclops as well. Just playing a bit here. Let's Meth Cloud him, the turtle, and make ourselves a Hydra. I'm going to walk. Oh no, he's still there. Yeah, he's still there. That's not good. What do we want to do about all this? This is not a great situation to be in. I can't go south. because the Kraken's in the way. I could go north. Yeah, I shouldn't have stayed. As soon as I came down here and realized it was so close to this, I should have just gone back up. I should have gone back up, and at that point I should have gone to the other, whatever the third staircase down is, because this was just too close to all this nastiness. I made a lot of noise with lightning bolt. Really pulled a lot of stuff here. Scatter shot. No, that'll hit my Hydra. Let's go ahead and coffee heal wounds, just preemptively, you know. Okay, that's not bad. We're gonna meth cloud here. There's just a lot of things happening right now that we don't want. We don't want this guy to be here, because if he gets through our D-missile and actually somehow hits us with barbs, then we're barbed. We can't really move. But we do have a get-out-of-jail-free card. If I really want to, I can blow a scroll of blinking, end up right here, walk up, and just kind of go up. But I don't want to do that. So we'll take out the Windrake with the airstrike. Keeping in mind that airstrike does more damage to flying things. Do the same thing to the Manticore. Now he's confused, that's good. We'll get ourselves a Mana Viper for 5 mana because we had 5 mana available. And we'll get ourselves a Hydra using Sif Muna's ability. Now we're out of mana. Snapping Turtle can do 30 damage. Let's go ahead and use our Lamp of Fire. Unfortunately, it missed. It has a propensity to do that. So we're just going to start walking away now. Yeah, there we go. Cast another Hydra. This is where the Sif Muna ability really comes in handy. Just order our guys to kill. There we go. And we'll send them over to finish off the Cyclops. He really doesn't want to die. He has quite a lot of rocks. But that's okay. We have D-missile now, and he's probably out. We'll eat some food here as our buddies finish the job for us. Really want to watch out for these Cyclops, or Cyclope, I suppose. You want to watch out for Cyclops in Shoals, because they will have these little herds of dream sheep. And of course, if we get slept, yeah, I always talk about how paralysis is really bad. Well, sleep is just as, probably, arguably just as bad as being paralyzed for a character like this. Because if you get slept, you take extra damage as soon as something wakes you up with a strike. I'm going to identify this Wand of Digging. Yeah, so you get slept, you take extra, I think double damage actually from the first thing that wakes you up, and now you're surrounded by a bunch of garbage. It's not good. This is the upgraded Snapping Turtle, the alligator Snapping Turtle. He can do 50 damage. That's half our hit points. Never underestimate things like this. And 144 hit points on him, so he doesn't go down easy either. But Hydras, as usual, are doing the work for us. As we level up, we are going to rely on summons a little bit more, just for safety's sake. I mean, we don't need to worry about losing a little bit of experience, or even a lot of experience at this point, if it keeps us alive. We just want forward progress, and we want to do that safely. Got some interesting options here in this shop. Normally, I would say Amulet of Faith, 9 times out of 10, best option, no matter what character you're playing. Obviously, there are some exceptions. Like Gozag, where it does nothing, or Demigod, where it does nothing, or rue if you're already at max piety. Right here for Sif Muna is kind of a corner case. I'm not really doing things with her that reduce piety. I very rarely have to use channel magic to regenerate. And I'm not using her amnesia ability because the game has been pretty generous to me with amnesia scrolls. So I'm not going to wear Faith. I'm going to keep the magic regen amulet on, at least for now. However, these Rings of Wizardry are an interesting option. I don't really need them, but maybe if I wanted to get Dragon's Call online sooner. This +5 Ring of Protection, I want that. Don't have the gold for it. So we're going to put it on our shopping list. Just speculatively, we're going to put this Protection from Magic Ring on our shopping list as well. I personally, I value Protection from Magic very highly. On any character that doesn't have at least 3 or ideally 4 pips. Because, well, I hate paralysis. I don't even like being confused. And those are both things that in general only happen if you have less than 3 or 4 pips of MR. Nothing else on this list that we really need, so... okay, yeah. Want to make sure you don't miss anything here with these long lists of items. Yeah, we're good. A +3 Ring of Slaying would be very attractive if we were not pure caster. But we just don't care. We do not care about slaying. Water elementals do resist electricity, unfortunately, but we can just airstrike them to death. Oh, we got a satyr. Yeah, the satyrs really are going to have a hard time reaching me if they've got a Hydra coming through the water, moving at double speed, or something like that. Got a book here, but we need to do some inventory management. We'll drop these javelins finally. We really don't need them. Book of Battle. That's a good book. Book of Battle is a book you really want to see on a hybrid. Regeneration is amazing. Song of Slaying is highly underrated. Spectral Weapon is okay. I don't think it's as good as people think it is. A few other good things in there. Looks like I picked up something else. Let's drop all this stuff and see one by one. I got Iron Shot here. That's a good one. We may memorize that soon. Iron Shot is the best, in my opinion, bang for your buck, single target damage spell. Because it's only level 6, but it does a ton of damage, and it has really good range, unlike Crystal Spear, which is 1 range shorter. So in terms of optimizing the number of spells you use, spell levels you use, and the amount of mana that you're losing every time you cast, Iron Shot can't be beaten. Still have this Book of the Dragon lying around. Yeah, okay. I want to memorize Iron Shot. What do we got? What do we got that we can get rid of to make some space for this? Well, could get rid of Meth Cloud at this point. It's not terribly reliable. And I do not like... if I can avoid it, I really like to trash the RNG where I can. And Meth Cloud at this point in the game, to me, seems like it's a little bit reliant on the RNG more than Iron Shot. Of course, Iron Shot can miss. Iron Shot can miss. Iron Shot can do 0 damage. But there's really nothing that can be affected by Meth Cloud that worries me that much. And if I really want to be doing something with a cloud that's doing work while I'm, you know, casting other spells, I can just use my Cloud Wand. So yeah, we're gonna Amnesia that. It doesn't give us enough spell levels for Iron Shot, unfortunately. I really want to get rid of this Oz armor. I'm gonna forget to use it all the time, but I know that technically it is the best. It's well, not the best, but it's something we should have. I'm gonna keep it, just on principle. It'll come in handy. If we do memorize Iron Shot, we don't really need Airstrike and Lightning Bolt. I mean, that would be 3 different direct damage spells. They serve different purposes. Airstrike, you know, works from behind the lines versus monsters, and Lightning Bolt is a bolt, so it can hit more than one thing. But you don't really need both. So we're really going to want to consider getting rid of one of those. I think... Yeah, we're going to drop... We're going to go ahead and drop Lightning Bolt. I don't like it at this point in the game. It's loud. It does a ton of damage if it does hit, but, you know, there's no guarantees. Oh, hey, we got company. So we're going to change... We're going to put Iron Shot to the same letter that Lightning Bolt was on. And we're going to train some Earth. I really shouldn't even be casting it yet, actually, because it's 34% fail rate. But the thing about Iron Shot is, unlike Lightning Bolt, while it can miss, it usually doesn't. So we're just gonna, you know, we're gonna use that to kill one thing at a time. And that way we don't have to rely on summons quite so much. And maybe, while Statue Form hasn't spawned yet, maybe we'll even use that at some point. D-Missile doing so much work it breaks. That's okay. Put that back on. Hey, there's our Kraken friend. Hydra should take him out pretty fast. Yeah. 11-headed Hydra. We've got some good spell power to be summoning that. What is our spell power at? Only 3 pips from max for Hydra. That's good stuff. Is that Polyphemus? No, it's just a Cyclops. I should have gone back up immediately. We could be put to sleep here. Let's do that. That was some dangerous stuff. Okay. We're almost to Shoals 4. Probably because, I mean, we're only, what, 20 minutes into this video, and we're already almost done with Shoals. Assuming that I don't have any sort of issues with these branches, I will probably do Shoals and Spider in the same video. Kind of trying to make my summons do most of the work here. Especially since I just lost D-Missile, but they don't want to finish this stuff off. That's okay. Why is it flashing again? Oh, I took a lot of damage. Yeah, see, we're at 56 hit points. This is one of those things where you could really run into a situation where you're mindlessly casting over and over. You don't really pay attention to your hit points. I mean, but these guys do 23 damage plus the Hunting Sling, so God forbid if 2 of them got a max damage hit on me at the same time, I'm pretty much dead. So we go up, and we rest up. Hopefully my mic sounds a little better this time. I'm still kind of in the process of teaching myself to, you know, best practices for these videos. And with that microphone that I bought, I found out that I was, unbeknownst to me, I was actually recording in stereo, which is apparently not what you want to do when you're making one of these sort of podcasts or YouTube videos. Okay. Let's go back down to Shoals 3. Another dream sheep, buddy. We're gonna go up. We're not gonna take this staircase because it's too close. It is too close to the one we just came up from. I'm gonna change my spells around a little bit here. What we may do, probably very soon, what we will probably do is Amnesia off Airstrike. As nice as it is, it kind of drops off in how valuable it is. Maybe not, though. I like to have it around for really nasty flying monsters like Shard Shrikes and Caustic Shrikes. But the only reason I would do that, the reason I'm considering it, is then I would only have Iron Shot as a damaging spell, and then I could memorize Spellforged Servitor, and then I would have a Spellforged Servitor that tends to just shotgun Iron Shots, which is very nice. In fact, Spellforged Servitor, we're only at 10% fail with that guy right now, so it would be nice to have that. Then again, if he's airstriking, it's not the worst thing in the world. Really, our main limiting factor right now is just spell levels, you know? Not a very high spell power demissile, unfortunately, so we tend to lose it pretty often. Oh, whoops. Right, this is an avatar, and this is yet another reason why magic resistance is great to have. 17%, not very high, but, you know, whatever. Roll the dice, it'll happen, you know? That's okay, though. Our Hydras ought to kill him pretty fast, just like that. I don't think I would have gone in here if I didn't have demissile, because there's just so many... there's just so much being thrown at us. I mean, literally thrown at us. Javelins. Stones from satyrs. I don't think I would have gone in here first, if not for demissile. We would have to be a little more careful than we're being at the bare minimum. We would be really relying on summons even more than we already are, because they can, you know, you can stick guys in between you and the baddies, but they can still throw the rock and it can still miss the Hydra and hit you in the face. So that's no guarantee, but we would be doing that pretty much all the time rather than most of the time like we're doing now. Oh, we got confused by a satyr. And there you go, another reason that MR is good to have. Let's see what our Hydras can do. Thankfully, satyrs don't go in the water, so we can just rest up a bit. Unfortunately, Iron Shot's range is, while it's like okay, it's not as good as when you're worshipping Vehumet, so... See, I only have 2, 3, 4. But you can reach up to here, which is more significant than you would think if you're worshipping Vehumet and have the appropriate piety. That's okay though. We've branched out to the point where if we're in a fight that we're really going to have a problem with, then we're probably going to be spending the first few turns that the enemy's approaching us. We're going to be spending that summoning monsters anyway. So that range is not that much of a problem. The range limitation. Notice that Merfolk had a Trident of Distortion. We don't want anything to do with that. I'm still very afraid of Abyss right now. I mean, it's possible to walk into Abyss and, you know, you find a portal within 3 steps and you're free. Or you only fight things that your character is perfectly capable of dealing with. Or you walk into Abyss and you spend the next 5,000 turns, you know, not finding an exit and only running into things that don't give you enough experience to form a portal, or things that you just can't kill. So look at that storm of tomahawks and javelins. If I didn't have D-missile, you know, we might have a real problem. I probably would have eaten a lot of damage. That's the kind of fight that you just need to lure. You would need to lure it back to a staircase. And that's just kind of a popcorn fight in Shoals. This is interesting. Let's kill this. Yeah, that could be nasty for another character. Since he's a siren, he pulls it to you. Or he pulls you to him, rather. And then you're stuck with these Oclobs. However, we can kind of cheat and airstrike him, even though there's plants in the way. Another reason why airstrike is amazing. Ring of protection from fire. We're finally full up on rings. I'm gonna wear, even though that does give me 2 EV, I am gonna drop the Dex ring. I am not partial to dexterity rings, and more resistance from fire is never a bad thing, unless you're maxed out. A little bit obnoxious that we haven't found any artifact rings yet. But, you know, eventually. But that's the other thing about Dungeon Crawl. You know, in this game, you should assume the game is going to give you nothing. Nothing at all that's useful to you. If you're trying to win, no matter the circumstances, you have to assume the worst thing is what's going to happen. He hit me through D-missile. That's unfortunate. Ooh. Getting water struck, unfortunately. Shoals is a lot more convenient for an Octopode. Seeing as how I can go in this deep water. Shouldn't be in melee with this guy. He does too much damage. Let's have the Hydra do the work. Oh, we made so much quick progress on Shoals for the first 2 floors, and then we got slowed down a bit. But I mean, you can't really, oh, uh-oh. don't want to mess around with these drowned souls. They don't say how much drowning damage they do, but it's significant. I don't remember if octopodes are immune to drowning, but I don't want to find out. Doesn't seem to say how fast. Oh no, they do move speed 12, so they're faster than me, but hopefully my iron shots and Hydra, yeah, take care of this guy. Okay, we're on Shoals 4. This is a branch end. It's not terribly different than Shoals 1 through 3, but some people do have trouble with it, and I don't blame them. I'm going to drop this book of cantrips I just got. Speaking of that, before I get into the Shoals 4 explanation, Animate Skeleton is amazing. Basically, if you can get it, and it doesn't violate God conduct, you should use it. Animate Skeleton, Animate Skeleton is just outrageously good for the price. It's a first level spell, and you get these massively good bodies in the way. You know, a lot of hit points. They even do good damage, and they, you know, the skeletons get obviously better depending on how deep you are in the dungeon. So if you're down in depths and you animate a deep troll skeleton, you've got a valuable ally, and you only invested 1 spell level's worth of training into necromancy. With all that said, I'm not going to get it on this character because I'd really rather be summoning Hydras. But for most characters, you would take it. Okay, we're going to drop this ring of See Invisible because we are wearing a hat of See Invisible. Okay, so Shoals 4. Usually, and I think actually every single Shoals 4, I could be wrong, but generally Shoals 4 is going to have, anyways, Shoals 4 is going to have a lot of these little sort of house things. Sometimes they'll be open like this, sometimes they'll be closed like this, and there'll be usually one entrance, and they'll be filled with guys. Usually some combination of merfolk. Sometimes there's a kraken in there. Just anything that you could find in the rest of Shoals, you absolutely will find in Shoals 4. We'll drop this Book of Unlife. A little late in the game to be training necromancy. Not unless I feel like getting Necromutate online for extended. Yeah. So these little houses. Yeah, this is the version of this is the version of Shoals with a little more, you know, there's usually not doors. Instead there's just these one-way entrances. And then you've got a miniature vault full of garbage that you generally don't want to fight. Well, I mean, you do want to fight it, but like this is pretty nasty because there's 4 dream sheep. They'll put me to sleep pretty quickly, so we're gonna move. But anyway, somewhere in one of these little houses is going to be the rune. Some people, depending on how strong your character is, or if you're trying to speed run, if you're trying to do less turn count, as soon as they find the rune, they'll get out of here, you know. If you have the rune, you don't need to stay, that's fine. But I like to fully explore because there can be acquirement level items in the middle here of each of these houses. So you tend to find some good stuff here. But the thing is, if you can handle the rest of Shoals, you can probably handle Shoals 4. However, on this floor, like most of Shoals, sound travels. I think technically sound is not supposed to travel as far in this branch, but in my experience, it's so wide open that you're going to pull the floor anyway, regardless of what you're trying to do, if you make any noise. And so, with all these little houses, if you make enough noise, those enemies absolutely will come out of the houses, and they will make sure you have a bad day. So, unless you're like a combat god, unless you're rolling with a Mibby or some kind of melee monster, chances are good you're going to be doing, even not as a pure caster. I mean, obviously I'm playing a little careful, like especially careful on this character, but, or trying to. But even if you're not playing something as tedious as this, you will find yourself stair dancing a lot. Staircase, staircase, staircase. We only have 2 really, since these are next to each other, but it is just invaluable. I mean, it's an invaluable strategy to be able to jump between the 2 using the upstairs as a buffer. And this is one of those places in the game where you'll be doing that quite a lot. There's just too much garbage here, you know? There's too much garbage here to fight it all at once. Not unless you're just super powered. The Hydras are pretty good, but, you know, they only last so long, and I've only got so much mana. Oh, geez. That water strike, you know? Not to be underestimated. He only hit me 2-3 times, but 3d 17 damage. So that's roughly 60. Wow. I think I could have died there actually if I. Yeah, let's drink a heal wounds. And let's drink a curing. And we'll airstrike. Yeah. That was actually very risky. Gotta be careful. Really using up a lot of food here. But unfortunately, we don't want to focus on spell casting again for a little while. I want to get this earth magic up. Maybe up to 12 to match spell casting. Or sorry, to match conjuration is what I meant. But getting Iron Shot up is kind of a priority right now. Because that is going to be the way that we kill things for pretty much the entirety of the rest of the game. Because it never levels off. There's no point in the game, except versus certain kinds of monsters, I suppose. But there's no point in the game where having Iron Shot and casting Iron Shot is useless. I mean, once you memorize Iron Shot, there's really rarely going to be a good reason for you to amnesia it off. Found a box of beasts here. That's nice. We'll identify something. Got a lot of scrolls unidentified. We'll go ahead and drop this paralysis. It's mostly used up anyway, and we have confusion. We will keep the scroll of vulnerability on. I like to keep one. I like to keep a stack. We'll drop this shield. We're not going to be using it for a while. I think this is good for now. Hey, we can afford our Ring of Protection. Let's go ahead and get that. Now this is worth its weight in gold, right here. 5 AC when we currently have 6 base AC. It's outrageously good. Let's see. Given what we're working with right now, because of the way that I'm using Summon Hydra, I want to have all this magic, so I'm not going to drop the magical power. I think what we're going to do is we're going to drop the Profire, because we already have 1 pip, and that's the important one. Normally I like to have as much Profire as possible, but not if I can get AC instead, especially if I already have one. If I already have 1 pip. And we're back at Shoals 4. A lot of nastiness here. Oh, right. Didn't even notice. This is Ilsui. She's going to show up. I actually think she shows up 100% of the time in Shoals. She's a bit of an obnoxious unique, and I think she can show up anywhere in Shoals, but is weighted for Shoals 4. Not positive on that, but that's been my experience. She can do a lot of stuff, but really the annoying thing about her is she'll go invisible, and she'll summon a bunch of water elementals. Icicle can do pretty good damage. But for us, the real obnoxious thing that might not affect other characters is she's got Abjuration, and so she's going to make our little buddies go away. Hopefully we can hit her with the Mana Viper. Alright, I can't use magic right now. She's not particularly hexable. Her MR is great. I don't think we're gonna... Yeah, we're not gonna kill her. I mean, look at... She's just got too many buddies with her. She's got these 3 Javelineers. They do mega massive damage. They've got this Manticore here that can shoot stuff at me at range. We're just gonna bail from this fight. And I'm glad I did so. Look at how much damage that Poison Javelin did to me. Oh, man. And the other one threw, and I deflected it. But that's fine. That was all while I was walking up, so we're fine. Everything's okay. I'm going to see if we can't sort of thin out her pack a bit. Slow going, but the alternative is trying to face it all at once, which I don't want to do. Seems like the floor is fairly woken up at this point. Another reason why, I mean, you'll notice that I just repeatedly walk back to these stairs because that's the safest place to be. If I'm caught like out, I mean, assuming, pretend this isn't deep water. If I was caught out here and then I get like 6 or 7 dudes near me, I can't really walk away. Merfolk move really fast in both shallow and deep water. And so my only option would be to use some consumables, which we don't like to do if we can avoid it. Okay, these Dream Sheep are not threatening when they're by themselves, not at this point in the game. Trying to airstrike things to death. Trying not to run out of mana, but sometimes it's hard. These Aquamancers should not be treated lightly either. Primal Wave does quite a bit of damage. They have 3 different things that can kind of directly damage you: Primal Wave, Steam Ball, and Throw Icicle. So if you're a fragile character like me, it can really quickly be the end of you. Did I just miscast twice in a row? Yes, I did. That's unfortunate. Ooh, Rapier of Speed. I don't like that. We're going to try to hex this guy. Over 50% success rate. And we failed twice. He's not actually confused, it's just the ally thing. But we're going to take the time to summon a Hydra anyway. There we go. Oh man. Can't hex avatars though, they have good MR. Eat some rations so we're not starving. Can't cast if we're starving. Wow, what is going on? Yeah, we have too much stuff around us. I don't like this at all. I'll make another Hydra. Okay, finally. There we go. The Hydra can really kill the avatar fast if it's next to it, but it took it a little while. See, situations can kind of quickly turn ugly in this place. Windrakes go down pretty fast to airstrike, like everything else that flies. Frost Giants can spawn in here. And we don't have any resistance to cold without this staff on, so we swap again. These didn't stop being dangerous since our adventure in Ice Cave. They're still very dangerous to us because we don't have that resistance. Gotta make sure we remember to swap on. However, Hydras make pretty short work of them. That's an uncommon spawn in here, but it can happen. Usually placed by a vault. We just got the rune. Just sort of auto-explored into it. I don't think we've killed Ilsui yet. Ilsui. Whatever. She's not necessarily guarding the rune or anything. Maybe we did kill her. Or maybe we... It's not like we have to kill her. Kinda wanted to show the kill. But, as you can see, Shoals 4 is really all about stair dancing, taking it very slowly. You really want to avoid teleporting at a branch end, and that's very true on Shoals 4. It's not an exception. Because if you teleport, if you're in trouble here and you teleport, you could land here, you could land in here, you could land inside this thing, you could land in any of these little houses. Then you're surrounded by nastiness that's probably worse than what you were running from. Just stay near the staircases. Did I accidentally turn off book pickups? Because I think Sif Moona just gave me that. Strange. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video short here because we're just now reaching an hour. And it'll be nice to have some slightly shorter videos on here. I'll probably continue and just move right up into another video and do spider, but I want to take note here that Sifmuna has finally given us something we wanted for a while, which is Malign Gateway, my favorite spell in the game. So with that, we're going to stop training Iron Shot. We've got it at decent spell power now. We'll train Translocations. Yeah, Controlled Blink, Summon Forest, Malign Gateway. We're really coming up on some good things. Passage of Galubria. That's good stuff. And we'll probably Amnesia off summon Hydra. Maybe. We want to have, let's see, do we want to have Passage? Normally I would go for Passage over Controlled Blink, and I will use it for now, of course, because it's all we can do. But in this particular case, I think I'm going to go with Controlled Blink. I'm going to replace Passage with Controlled Blink later. Yeah, anyway, we just came up on a cornucopia of translocation magic, so that's nice to have. It's nice to see. We're really hurting on spell levels still. So for a while, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it like this, and we're actually gonna train if we don't get enough spell levels that we need. The spell levels we need to memorize Summon Forest or Malign Gateway if it gets to be castable enough. We'll turn off Translocations once Passage is reasonably castable. More on Passage next time. It's one of the best spells in the game and gives us a little bit of increased survivability. It's kind of like a poor man's Controlled Blink. Alright, well, that's it, and we'll hit up Spider Nest next time. Probably.